My name is Corey Sarago. I manage our manufacturing, engineering, and automation team, and this is how a Lund boat is made. Every Lund boat will start out from an 8,000 to 10,000 pound coil of aluminum. That coil will get unraveled through our decoiling machine. It's got a set of levelers that are constantly looking for different pressures, and what we're doing is flattening the sheet as it gets rolled out for shearing. From there, we end up having these big blank sheets that we'll distribute and cut those individual pieces from. That individual aluminum piece will then get delivered to a press brake where it actually gets its 3D shape, and it'll get all of its contours and bends added to it. We have some pretty sophisticated equipment over in Parts Fab. One of our best machines that we use all the time is our turret machine. We use that for flanging aluminum pieces so that the internal structure that sits below your floor can fit nice and tight to the bow of your boat. From Parts Fab, all of those individual aluminum pieces get delivered to our assembly department, which to us is really riveting. All of our largest sheet metal parts get riveted together first. I'm sure you're familiar with the traditional seam rivet, the double seam that Lund's famous for. Those all happen at one of our very first stations. Once we have that shell of the boat built, we flip it right side up and start to add all of that internal structure to it. Most of our assembly process starts with the largest parts being aligned with alignment screws first. On a 18 to 20 foot part, you gotta imagine it's pretty tough to keep alignment the entire way. So those screws are extremely vital to make sure that alignment's there before we finally drill and install their rivets. As the boat progresses through assembly and all of that internal structure continues to get added and aligned together, it'll eventually pass through bottom riveting, where we actually will turn the boat on its side, and we have a robotic cell process 3 rivets at a time through all of those support parts. The cell is pretty cool. We basically have 2 robots working in tandem. One robot identifies the screw locations that it wants to go drill. It then drills 3 holes at a time, and those 2 robots work in unison to insert and buck rivets. That robot's doing anywhere from 800 to 1,000 rivets per bottom, and it's doing it for all the boats that go down one of those south assembly lines. After bottom riveting, each boat will go into our test tank where a boat's float tested for approximately 10 minutes. We're looking for anything and everything that might be considered a potential leak point. If it passes from the test tank, it'll then go to end station where it gets its finishing touches put in. That's really where the meat and potatoes of that boat model gets installed. After assembly, the Lund boat will then go into its flotational foam department where it'll get sprayed in each individual cavity. The foam, it's similar to a house foam, but it's a unique blend to Lund, and it's an AB type foam, which means when you mix 2 chemicals together, it's going to react and expand. It's so powerful when it expands, it'll start to deform the boat and any aluminum sheet metal that isn't yet secured. So we'll add bracing and fixturing to hold that boat shape during the foaming process. After foaming, we'll transport the boat through our auto wash. So basically we're spraying the aluminum hull to remove any dirt, debris, or grime that might be on the aluminum parts through assembly. After auto wash, the boat will get loaded onto our jacks, and those are really what it's going to be fixtured to throughout the paint process. The painting process can consist of either 1 to 3 passes depending on what model or what options the customer orders, and it'll actually just do a big 360 loop through our paint department for every additional pass. If it gets a 2-tone variation, it'll pass through our graphics and masking area, and we use pre-cut vinyl masking to basically get that signature 2-tone that you're familiar with on your boat models. After paint, that boat will exit to kind of a finishing touch station where it'll get its HIN number stamped, it'll get any additional flotational foam removed, and it'll really get prepped for final assembly. While the hull is in the paint department, all of the upholstery and furniture individual pieces are getting kicked off at the same time. So every option that a customer selects is going to queue up different programs and different parts to be kicked off in upholstery. Every boat order will come through with unique carpet, vinyl, and wood programs, and those operators are pairing those unique shapes with all of the aluminum parts that will later be used for the furniture in the boat. We use an automotive style spray gun to apply basically a contact adhesive to both the carpet, vinyl, wood, aluminum, and those operators are adhering the carpet and vinyl to have all those loose parts covered before they reach final assembly. Once in final assembly, the boat is paired with that upholstery kit cart, and that's really where the furniture and kind of those finishing touches of the boat are started to be installed. Every boat, if you can picture the process, is from the floor up. We're putting those largest parts into the boat first. The floors are installed, gunnel, cleats installed, freeboard carpet if you're ordering a model that has freeboard carpet installed. After floors, the biggest casting platforms are installed both front and rear. And really I should take a step back and probably talk about pre-assembly. So we have two different types of final assembly going on throughout the shop. We have pre-assembly, which to us is building as large of parts as we can outside the boat. And then we have final assembly, which is actually happening in an online setting. Biggest parts are getting secured down into the hull around them. We do that mainly for ergonomics. Building a bow casting platform can get extremely difficult if you're trying to do it all inside of a boat. We'll take advantage of having a tabletop at a pre-assembly station, and then we're ultimately just going to drop that huge sub-assembly into the boat for securing it down. After your decks are installed, the boat will go and get its consoles, side panels, and windshield. After final assembly, and even throughout stages of the entire process, there's inspection happening the entire time. So operators are constantly taking quality into their work. They're checking both their own work and the work done of the individuals ahead of them. But we also have our quality assurance department do like a final audit, a final inspection at the very end. And they're really looking for anything that a customer or a dealer may be dissatisfied with. So it's anything cosmetic, it's anything functional, it's anything that a customer wouldn't want to deal with out on the water. After final assembly, the boat will travel to our rigging department where it gets its motor hung, its steering connected, and really single test fire to make sure that we connected all gauges and steering appropriately. From there, it's paired with its trailer. So we order our trailers from a sister company just kitty corner to our property, and it's a pretty unique process. They'll deliver and drop off those trailers at the same time our boat finishes its process, so that we're actually pairing that customer ordered trailer with the boat at the same time before it gets shrink wrapped and sent out to loading.